Today, we have a special guest from Saudi Arabia. His name is Yasser. So, welcome, Yasser. Welcome to the Billion Insight podcast. How are you?
Okay, I'm great. How about you, Sri?
Yeah, I'm also good, man.
Thank you to have me here. It's an honor.
So, Yasser, could you please introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Yasser. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Saudi Arabia, living currently in Jeddah, and it's my hometown. I love this country. I love this city,
So, how's the place?
Jeddah is a great city, to live in because it's different from the other cities in Saudi Arabia because it's the nearest city to Mecca and Medina. So we
Oh.
have a ton of cultures here. A lot of Indians, Egyptians, Moroccans, a ton of Indians here and a ton of Egyptians, a ton
Yeah.
of Moroccan, basically all of the world culture, you could find it here in Jeddah, and specifically Jeddah because it's the nearest big city or major city to Mecca and Medina. So most Muslims come here to live here, to work here, so they can be the closest to Mecca.
Interesting. So, man, how many languages Saudi Arabia people can speak?
Saudi Arabia people speaks only Arabic, and they are famous actually by their fluency in Arabic. They brag about how they can spell word, how they can say good words and arrange good sentence in Arabic,
No, because Arab is born in Saudi, right? Arab language.
Yes, it's born here in this specific place,
Yeah.
and the famous book for Muslims is Quran.
Yeah.
So it's written in Arabic with our language, so
Yeah.
we can't feel honors to speak this language,
Yeah, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Islam also began in your Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
it began in Mecca,
Yeah.
which is the famous city, I think, in the whole world, Basically, it's the whole Muslims go to do Hajj and to pray,
Yeah. So, Yazir, could you say hello and how are you and nice to meet you in Arab language?
Okay, so hello is ahlan.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same rhythm or the same tune in English. How are you? كيف حالك?
Yeah.
It's easy, right?
Yeah, it sounds cool, I would say.
It sounds so easy. We
Yeah,
have two words now, ahlan and كيف حالك. What's the third word that you asked me
It is
about?
like nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. سررت بمعرفتك.
Yeah.
It's a long sentence here, but
Yeah.
yeah, so Arabic is not that hard,
Yeah.
especially ahlan and salam alaikum. It's famous
Yeah, I'm
worldwide.
aware of that. I have many Muslim friends. I often hear them from like salam walaikum, right? It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, this word you can use when you meet them and when you say goodbye to them. Just say salam alaikum. Okay, salam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a great sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think India is hosting a ton of Muslims,
Yeah.
So
If
I
I'm not
think
mistaken,
you
it is
as
like
an
one of
Indian,
the
of course.
largest Islamic populated country in the world. One of the largest.
Yes, I think India and Indonesia
Indonesia is first.
always play between.
Yeah.
Indonesia is first?
Yeah, Indonesians first. Second is maybe India or Pakistan. It is like a tie, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you are, you heard this word before, salam alaikum.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Hey.
So, man, we know that Islam began from Saudi Arabia, and that is one of the most interesting thing about your country. So, is there any other interesting thing about your country which you want to share with our listener today?
Okay, and so beside religious tourism, I think Saudi Arabia is have a ton of great historical places that you can visit. We have a city called al-Ula. I'm not sure if you heard about it or not, but it's one of the oldest cities worldwide. And we have nowadays with the MBS vision, we have a ton of projects for entertainment, for education, for healthcare, So we are getting there, We are following the right path to make our country better and make our country more famous. But we already famous with our religious part in Islam world and with our history part in Arab world,
Yep. Hmm. So, man, I know you guys celebrate Eid. Eid is a very famous festival of your religion. So, apart from the Eid, would you like to mention any other traditional
Yes.
festival from your country that you celebrate?
Okay, so here in Saudi Arabia, other than the religious celebrations like Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr, we have basically
Hmm.
two Eids, you know? Of course, Ramadan.
We call here in India the small Eid and big Eid.
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. The small Eid and the big Eid. I think the big Eid is when people go to Hajj. Yeah, here in Mecca and Jeddah and basically Hijaz, we call the big Eid for the or the small Eid for when people come to Hajj because here in Hijaz we work in serving people during this Eid, so we don't feel like it's Eid, you know.
Hmm.
But usually in all other countries, even here in Saudi Arabia in Najd, which is another city here in Saudi Arabia, they call the big Eid the Hajj Eid.
Hmm.
My point is, other than the religious celebrations, we have the national, of course, celebration, and we
Hmm.
have the foundation celebration, if I'm saying it correctly. Basically, one for when King Abdulaziz gathered the whole tribes under one flag.
Hmm.
And the other celebration is when his grandfather, and I think his great grandfather, established this country,
Hmm.
you know? And basically, the second national Eid, it's been recently added, like 5 or 6 years ago. Before that, we
Hmm.
had only one national day.
Hmm. So let's talk about your country's cuisine. Could you name any your favorite or famous dishes from your country?
My favorite dish,
Yeah.
I think I am comfortable saying that kabsa. It's the famous dish here in Saudi Arabia.
Hmm. Any other dishes from your
That's
country
my,
that you want to mention?
I think, mandi, which is another dish.
Manji.
And yes, and we have another great dish here called hanith. Basically, all the three dishes contain rice and meat, but they were cooked in different ways,
Hmm.
because it's, of course, from our culture,
Hmm.
because the culture here is basically connected to the animal here, and the
Hmm.
famous animal here is sheep. So
Ship. Yeah.
most of our famous dishes contain sheep. And we
Yeah.
have like small foods or dishes, like for example, let me think. Now this is a great question. Let me think about it.
Hmm.
Small dishes that I like to eat here in Saudi Arabia. I think it's a local food here. It's called balila. It's famous here in Hijaz. I like to eat it.
Balila.
Basically, yes, it's a
Hmm.
vegetables that I can't remember its name,
Hmm.
but they boil it and put it with a side vinegar, so it's become a very richy dish.
Hmm.
So yeah,
So yes, sir. Do you like traveling?
I like traveling. I love it actually.
Hmm. Can you say some of the places you have visited in your country?
In my country, I'm planning actually after
Hmm.
graduation, uh, I will book a car
Hmm.
and travel around my country because I didn't visit so many places in Saudi Arabia. This is a
Hmm.
shame from me. I need to visit more places in Saudi Arabia. However, I managed to visit a couple of cities,
Hmm.
major cities. I managed to visit Riyadh, of course, since a
Hmm.
part of my family is located there.
That's
I
your
managed
capital.
to, yes, as the capital.
Yeah.
And it's actually rapidly changing Riyadh.
Because of the
I
NEOM
think
project?
Riyadh.
The NEOM project, right?
No, no, no. If we took Saudi Arabia map, Riyadh
Hmm.
will be right in the middle.
Hmm.
If we took it like in a square, Riyadh will be in the middle.
Hmm.
Neom on the other side will be in the, I think, left upper side. It's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the north, in the middle. I went to Riyadh, of course.
Hmm.
Every year I go there, especially in the Big Eid.
Hmm.
And I went to Asir, which have basically the best natural traction in Saudi Arabia.
Hmm.
I went to Medina, of course. I traveled to a city called An-Namas. I don't know if you know it or not, but it's
Hmm.
next to Jazan, to the east side of Saudi Arabia. I went to
Hmm.
Dammam. So I think I covered the major cities.
Hmm.
But other than that, I am planning to visit all Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia and cover every inch of my country
Yeah,
because
man.
I think it's worth it, you know?
Yeah, every country's citizens should have that goal, I would say. Even I want to visit all of my country, all of the places
You
of
have
mine.
to, you have to.
Yeah, man.
Because
Harsh.
these, India and Saudi Arabia are big countries, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we have so much things to do in India and so much thing to do in Saudi Arabia
yeah.
rather than just traveling to the other cultures, you
Yep,
know?
man. Yep. So, man, which place you like to recommend to our listener? Most have visited
I,
place of
th-
your country. Yeah.
I think the best place to visit here in Saudi Arabia is Riyadh, definitely,
Hmm.
because it's equivalent to Dubai, to London, to the major cities around the world. All the famous attractions and activities are happening in Riyadh. All the famous restaurant, the luxury life, you know, is happening in Riyadh. However,
Hmm.
if you are visiting us from a cold country like Russia,
Hmm.
like America, and you want to see the nature, you could visit
Hmm.
Asir because it's a great, it has the best natural attractions in Saudi Arabia.
Hmm.
On the other hand, if you are a Muslim, I think you should spend all the time in Jeddah. So you could visit Mecca and Medina in the weekends and stay in Jeddah during the weekdays because here in Jeddah we have also the best attractions because we came in the second place after Riyadh in the list of major cities in Saudi Arabia. So we have a couple of international attractions, you know?
Yeah. So, man, if you could pick three countries to visit other than your own, where would you like to
Okay.
go?
You know, I had a traveling list. I had Japan in it. I had China. So I visit Japan. So I think China.
Mm-hmm.
I think India.
Hmm.
And I think I should finish my tour with a European tour, you know?
Yeah.
I would choose Spain, maybe, you know?
Spain.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Real Madrid, so at least I'm going to enjoy Real Madrid matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
So, man,
about you? Do you have a list of places you want to visit?
you mentioned Japan, right? Since I'm a big anime fan, so yeah, it is like a no-brainer for me to go Japan.
Yes, definitely you should visit it. What
Yeah.
else? Come on, I want to steal from your list.
Yeah, I want to visit as much as country as possible. If it's possible, I want to visit all the 200 countries of our world.
Wow, this is so much, I think. It's not
Yeah.
for me, you know? For me, I just want to visit a couple of cultures just to
Yeah.
say that I visited because traveling is so hard. I
I
tried
mean,
to
once the
travel
NEOM project is completed, I really want to visit Saudi. This is really a
really.
futuristic thing which is currently developing in your country.
Yes, and it's happening, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, the world think that we are just exaggerating or lying, but it's really happening. We have a lot of people, a lot of friends are working there currently, you know? Famous here in Saudi Arabia to have an offer from NEOM to work there,
Yeah.
to start building, to start analyzing, to start coding for the city.
Yep.
For us lawyers, even lawyers are getting there and are established there. It is real, you know?
Yeah.
And I need to clarify something. NEOM is a big city. There are a couple of small projects in it, like the line. The
The line
city,
project.
yes, it's called the line, yes. We
Yeah.
have another project which called Oxygen.
For the listener who do not know what is a NEOM project, could you please explain what is the NEOM project which is going on in Saudi Arabia?
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
basically, our prince, which is the godfather of the vision, the Saudi Arabia vision, he thinks that Saudi Arabia economy shouldn't rely on oil. Rather than that, it should rely on tourism. It should rely on the private sector. It should rely on people, you know, than just oil.
Like what we see in UAE, Dubai, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so one of the cases that he is working on, he want to take advantage or use the area between the three continent,
Hmm.
you know, in the north side of Saudi Arabia, the left north of Saudi Arabia, because
Hmm.
it's next to Egypt,
Hmm.
next to Palestine, next to Jordan. It's right in the middle of the world, you know.
Hmm.
It's 4 hours with plane to reach there to NEOM from
Hmm.
anywhere in the world.
Hmm.
Can you imagine this? So it's a great
Interesting.
location we have. So he
Hmm.
decided take advantage of this location and build a great city there, but not any city. a new futuristic city. Because if you build another Jeddah, another
Yeah.
Riyadh,
Yeah.
no one's going to see it, you know? Jeddah have the history, Riyadh have a history, but NEOM is born in 2014. No one is going to see that city, you know?
Yeah.
So he start building and start arranging competitions to come up with the most efficient, eco-friendly, and futuristic design for these cities. So we saw the line project. It's not all about how futuristic it's going to be. Someone said in the internet, I remember, that he said, this guy thinks he is in Star Wars. No, it's not. We're working on something futuristic. We want to build something new, you know? So yeah, this is all about NEOM and why it's been built. Yeah.
So as a Saudi, what do you think? What kind of opportunity the NEOM project will bring to the local Saudi in terms of employment, education, and quality of life?
Okay, here in Saudi Arabia, we actually start to feel the opportunities of NEOM project because there are a ton of education programs, a ton of scholarships, a ton of job opportunities, especially for Saudis, for high school students to come to learn, to study, to start their path early in NEOM. You know, all these opportunities that we are talking about, it's not something in the future. It's really happening here. You know, me myself, I applied in NEOM, but unfortunately, I failed in the second test. So I couldn't join. But there are a ton of my friends are working there currently. You know, and working for NEOM is something big.
So you mentioned that your friends are working on NEOM project. Could you explain what kind of jobs they are getting there?
Okay, so basically it's a city, you know. But not all the projects in that city is completed. So they work as a full working city. But NEOM has a project to do. They work on finish it. The engineers are needed there, and the lawyers are required to deal with the contracts. The teachers are there. Why? Because all the people there who came for jobs, they need to have good education for their children, you know?
Interesting.
Yes.
So, considering the ambitious nature of NEOM project, how do you think it will influence Saudi Arabia's position in global economy and technology's landscape?
I think the best driver in our economy in the next 10 or 15 years is going to be the private sector. This is why MBS working so hard to bring as many big companies as he can. And this is a great move, you know. This is why he established the BIF, and they establish a ton of companies, and they establish a ton of events. They are working so hard to bring as many companies, international companies, to work in Saudi Arabia. Those companies are going to fuel our economy in the next 10 or 20 years, you know? So, yeah.
So you guys believe that the NEOM project will be the next Dubai in the Middle East, right?
No, for me and for the Saudis and for the Crown Prince, we are not working so hard to be the next city. You know, he said that specifically, you know, he tried to clarify that we are not trying to become a new copy of an existing city, you know? So this is why we come with a new or futuristic plans and futuristic designs, because we don't want to be the next Dubai.
When I saw for the first time the NEOM project, when your government released like some couple of years ago, I remember the line project when I saw it looks so futuristic. At the same time, I was a little skeptic that how you could build an entire city with one line. But let's see how it's turned out. And definitely everybody is excited about this project. I wish it will be completed very soon so that we will visit the NEOM project.
Yes, want to give positive information about it. I think the Saudi NEOM, as we heard from Twitter, progress is working so good. It's working with the schedule. So I think at 2030, the first phase is going to open. So maybe you could go and visit it, you know? And in 27, we are going to host the Olympic here in Saudi Arabia. The Winter Olympic. Can you imagine?
Yep.
In Oxygen project, we are going to have snow on top of the mountains.
Oh.
Yes, and we are working seriously on it. So in 27, you are going to see some nature of NEOM.
Quick correction here. Yasser mistakenly mentioned Saudi Arabia will host the Olympic in 2027, but what he actually meant that Saudi Arabia will host the Asian Winter Games in 2029. So we apologize for any confusion.
and in 2030 you could visit it. And even now we have the Red Sea project, which is located next to NEOM, and it's working right now. They opened the first phase a couple of days ago. You could search about it. It's a great location with a great project. It's we have in Saudi Arabia, because we are next to the Red Sea, we have the greatest nature. So I hope you and your guests or your followers see it and visit it in the future.
Yeah, man, definitely. We are quite excited, I would say. Personally, I am quite excited.
Yeah, I can hear that. And I hope you achieve it and see it.
Yep. So, man, what comes to your mind when you hear India?
Yeah, for me, recently, when I hear India, I automatically think about culture, about food. It's the wonderland of the world, You have a ton of culture. Every 20 miles walking in this country, you will find another culture.
Yep.
I have two friends here in Saudi Arabia. They are Indian. Both of them every one of them speaks another language. Can you imagine?
Yep.
A country with this diversity, it's a great place to visit with a great culture,
You couldn't have said that any better, I would say.
Yeah, and a ton of great minds there, if you put a great Indian with a great German, you will have a great machine, they said. So one will work with the iron and the other one will work with the brain. So I think, you guys have a great culture, a great people.
Yep.
I hope I visit it one day.
You are most welcome, man.
Yeah, I hope. I have it in my list.
Yep. If you could travel back in time, what period in Saudi Arabia's history would you want to experience?
So I think if we think about the past, I think the best period is the period. Wallah, this is a great question. Let me think about it for a while. Because here before the oil, it was hard, to be honest. People were starving, and King Abdulaziz, after he reunion the whole country under one flag, the country became better. So maybe I'm going to choose the time when King Abdulaziz start working in his grandfather country. I'm going to work with them to establish this country, and have the honor to be one of them.
Which era it is?
I think it was 19 years ago. 93, 94, something like this.
Okay,
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay, so it is pretty recently then.
Yes. Our country, as I said, have two national days, one for establish and one for unification, is when all tribes get around King Abdulaziz and they said, we want to work with you in your country. We want to be a part of it, So our country was established like 300 years ago. Before that, but this tribe agreement happened only 90 years ago.
Okay.
So so we have two national days to celebrate. So yeah.
So Yasser, do you like sports?
I like sports, of course.
So recently when Cristiano Ronaldo joined your country's league, it gained worldwide attention. So as a Saudi
League.
Yeah, the Saudi League. So as a Saudi yourself, what are your thoughts on this development?
I think it's a great move from Ronaldo, and he is a professional player and professional businessman, because he can finish deals and work great on them, because I think Ronaldo is the best player we brought so far, He worked with the media very well. He worked with the league very well, He plays so seriously, and he treats the league as it should be treated, We had a couple of successful players as well as Ronaldo. We have Mane from Liverpool. We have the player in Al-Ahli, Riyad Mahrez, Firmino. Both of these players, Careem Benzema, and we have Liverpool Van Dijk. Not Van Dijk, I'm sorry. Wallah, I hope Van Dijk come, but it's not Van Dijk, not yet. We have, I lost his name. But he's a great CDM. So we have a couple of good players here, and I think they are affecting the league in a positive way. They're making it harder and more fun to watch. And I think next year, inshallah, we are going to see more and more players.
Yeah. if I'm not mistaken, you guys will host the 2034 FIFA World Cup, right?
Yes, we won this honor last year.
Yeah.
Football is our national sport here in Saudi Arabia.
Really?
We
Oh,
play
interesting.
it. Yes, it's the famous sport here in Saudi Arabia. No
Mhm.
one knows anything about basketball. No one knows anything about baseball. I mean, there are a couple of fans for basketball and football here and there, but the
Mhm.
famous by far is soccer. You know,
Yeah. Mhm.
we have a ton of Filipinos here in Saudi Arabia who play basketball.
Basketball.
Yes, and we have a ton of Saudis here. They were influenced by their culture, so they tried it and they liked it. And here in Saudi Arabia, every team have a basketball and a football team. So I
Mhm.
think basketball comes in the second place.
You have mentioned lots of Philippines people are there to play basketball. They visit there to play basketball with your Saudi Arabia team?
No, they came here as workers, as doctors, as you know,
Yeah,
as a
okay.
teacher sometimes.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
Filipinos, what they're
In Philippines, basketball is so famous. They have their own league also. Yeah.
yes, and they come here to play it.
Yeah.
So we could see them in the parks, and some Saudis get influenced by them, so they
Okay.
join them, and
That's
it's a great
interesting.
sport, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
is indeed. So, Yasser, do you like movies?
I love movies, of course.
Could you name any famous movies from your country?
Okay, we have a great movie. I think it was published in 2021, I think. It's called
Hmm.
Shams al-Ma'arif.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's talked about two boys want to build their first or want to produce their first movie. Yeah, talked about how it went and how they managed to do it, you know? So it's a great movie. A
Okay.
second famous movie here in Saudi Arabia, it's called Shabab al-Bomb.
Mm.
It's another great movie, you
Mm.
know? It's mostly focusing about the teenagers and how they react in our culture. You know, it's a great movie to watch too.
Mhm. So, first movie is about filmmaking. His second movie is about teen. That's interesting.
Yes. So it's like watching a movie about actors making movie. Of course, it's nowhere next to Bollywood. I know you are bragging, but we are trying, you know. I think it's always fun to watch something from your culture. So yeah.
So, do you consume Bollywood?
For me personally, I used to. I used to watch Indian movie. And
Mm.
from time to time I watch Indian movie. Like the famous, I think it's called Tiger something, you
Ekta
know?
Tiger.
Exactly, in Netflix. This
Yeah.
was a great movie, you know? It's about a taxi driver or a taxi company.
The movie which is about is a taxi driver.
No, wait. It's about a driver. A person want to be a driver with a rich family, working with rich family. Come on, Sri, you don't hear about it?
The title of the movie is Tiger.
A tiger, yes.
I don't recall which movie it is.
Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Let me search about it. Give me a moment.
Okay.
It's a famous movie and it was a great The White Tiger.
The White Tiger. Okay. Mhm.
Yes. Did you heard about it?
Yeah, I heard about it. I have seen that time.
This is a great movie, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
it it was you know, a while
Yeah.
since I watched a great movie like this. And Slam Dunk Millionaire was one of
Yeah.
my best childhood movies.
Yeah.
It was like I compare it to Stay Home Alone, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
these type of movies. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So you consume lots of Indian movie.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
because it's for us, the Indian movie, Bollywood and Hollywood are the same things for us, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's a great movie. It's either
yeah,
Indian or Egyptian or American movie.
yeah, yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned Indian movie because we actually had to call it Bollywood.
Why?
Because earlier, the movie industry, the Indian movie, the Hindi film industry, which the name you were just mentioned, it is from Hindi film industry. You know, in India, we have many languages. So Hindi film industry is one of the movie industry. We have also South movie industry, Telugu movie industry,
Okay,
Tamil movie industry. And they
okay.
refer Bollywood, instead of calling it Hindi movie industry, they called it Bollywood because it is based on the city called Bombay. So they mix it Bombay with Hollywood. So they made it a term called Bollywood.
Okay. This is a great information.
Could you name any artist from your country? such as actor or
Oh,
actresses that you like to mention?
okay. I think the famous actor in my country called Nasser Al-Qasabi.
Hmm.
And Nasser Al-Qasabi basically famous because he has a long series of shows here in Saudi Arabia,
Hmm.
more than around 18 or 19 part, and every part is around 30 episode. We used to watch it during Ramadan.
Hmm.
So it has this weird connection between him and Ramadan for the past 18 years.
Hmm.
So yeah, recently he stopped.
Hmm.
We didn't saw anything new from him, but I think he's the most famous actor in Saudi Arabia.
Hmm.
Another famous actor, because
Hmm.
we mentioned Ramadan, and he
Hmm.
has a show in Ramadan called Ahmed Shigeri.
Hmm.
This actor actually and Nasr Al-Qasabi, both of them are connected with Ramadan, because they
Hmm.
usually cast their shows in Ramadan. So
Mhm.
yeah, and both of them are great actors and great. One of them is actor, which is Al-Qasabi, but the other one is a host,
Hmm.
But both of them are great in their works, and they presented Saudi Arabia in a great way, both of them.
Hmm. Hmm. So moving on. So Yasser, what
Mhm.
are some popular website or online platform commonly used in your country?
I think it started with Careem and Uber race as usual, like any other country.
Uber
But
is
now we have Uber
hmm.
and Careem.
Careem.
It's an Arabic version of Uber. Couple of Saudi guys started
Okay.
it, and it
Okay.
become the local Uber, Yeah. And here in Saudi Arabia, after we saw the Careem booming in
Mhm.
its price, most of the Saudi guys and most of the stakeholders here in Saudi Arabia start to focus about the new industry of apps.
Hmm.
So we have a bunch of new apps, like
Hmm.
an app for delivering food, a ton of them, like
Hmm.
Hunger Station,
Hmm.
like Ninja, like Delivery Hero, and
Hmm.
for even Flower. We are so advanced in app, so
Hmm.
we have our own flower delivery.
Okay.
It's called Flower,
Hmm.
and we have car cleaning product online with its own app. We have our own Amazon,
Hmm.
which called Haraj. Basically, Haraj mean the location where people gather and start shouting their prices.
Yeah.
100, 200. It's like an auction.
The bidding.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So Haraj is the same idea. So it's combined Amazon and eBay in one app. And we have, of course, for product, we have Noon, which is our all of Middle East
Hmm.
local Amazon.
Hmm.
So Noon is basically for products, for great deals.
Mhm.
So yeah, Noon. The world has become a small village. People used to purchase from Amazon are still purchasing from Amazon. Although
Hmm.
there is a local rival, but they
Mhm.
still prefer Amazon. They still prefer Shein, if you heard about it.
Shia.
Yes, it's a Chinese website. It's famous here in Saudi Arabia. It's booming, you know?
Mhm. Okay. So any popular social media application that you like to mention?
The only difference between Saudis and other people or other nationalities is that Saudi prefer to use X or Twitter
Hmm.
previously
Hmm.
as their favorite app. They use
Oh.
Twitter and WhatsApp,
Mhm.
nothing more. They don't use Facebook, by the way. I don't met any Saudi with a Facebook account before.
Hmm. But it is available in your country, right? Or it is
Yeah, of
banned?
course, all the apps
Okay. Okay.
are available.
Okay. Okay. So Facebook, Instagram is all available, but the famous one is Twitter, the X.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
How is the government structure in Saudi Arabia? Do
The
you guys
government
have democracy or monarchy, communal?
Wallahi, I am not good at
Yeah.
the government structure. I
Yep.
don't know it exactly, but we
Okay.
have the general government structure like any other country, and
Mm-hmm.
we have a crown prince which shows as the leader of the
Yep.
vision.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anything else is like any other country. So yeah,
The next leader would be the son of crown prince, right?
no, it's not. Yani, sometimes it could work like this, but other times, like for example, moving the crown between the king and the previous king, they were brothers. They were not son and father.
Okay.
And moving the crown from the current prince to another prince, we don't know it yet. But
Okay.
it's not have to be his son. Sometimes it's another family member. It's depend on ability and does he really fit in this position or not? Because he's ruling one of the greatest country, and essentially have the power to control third of the oil industry in all of the world. So yeah,
So
they have to
basically,
choose
the family member
wisely.
would be only be the successor, right?
Yes.
So you do not have a election in your country for like president or prime minister.
No, not in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So it is a like kingship.
Yeah, exactly. In Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia, it's like there is a king,
Yeah.
and then there is ministers, and ministers could come from outside of the family,
Yeah.
and then we
That
have
will
the
be
regular structure.
elected by the prince himself, or it is like you guys never vote, right? Never in your life you vote.
About minister, no. We vote
Uh,
about in a small like the
the mayor.
the mayor exactly. We
Yeah.
could vote about our mayor.
Okay. People often believe that Sharia law violates human rights, especially for women, constraining their freedom. So, as a Saudi, what is your perspective on this? Do you think Sharia law is good for your country in the long run? Or do you think it should be removed? Or do you believe that your government should make it softer, especially for women?
For me, no. I think studying law and legislations, the law itself, are two separate things. We study law, to understand how law works, how it could help us, how it could benefit us, and how we legislate. It's a whole another different. About the women rights, you say. I think it's not only a government problem; it's the people problem. Sometimes, we have a famous quote for King Abdullah, which is the previous king. He said, I would be happy to let the woman drive, but the people will be angry, So it's too common between the people and the leaders. But when MBS came, he vanished this different. He said, okay, what's the right thing to do? Women rights? Okay, do it. Don't listen to anyone, because sometimes, like some racist or some, how can I say it in English? The Islamic, the people who follow the Islam, of course, but they follow it like in a hardcore way. They
Yeah,
think they
the
are
extreme
right,
way.
but they are wrong. Exactly. They think that this is haram. This is not halal. This is haram. This is not halal. MBS said, listen, we're not going to listen to this. If you have approved hadith, a right one, or if we have the Quran, we are going to follow. Other than that, give them their rights. So, and it happened, So we start to see positive move from the government and from the people, mindset and ideas. So I think
Yeah.
we are moving there,
If you see other Islamic majority country like Indonesia or Turkey,
Mhm.
you see their women are so free there. They can do whatever the thing they want there. They can do
Mhm.
job and they do not have to go out wearing the hijab. You know the hijab, the
Mhm.
burqa.
Yeah, of course.
Basically, their women get all the freedom, just like the man in their country are getting.
Mhm. I think it's really big difference between
Mhm.
what the government think and what God think. Because here in Saudi Arabia, women can go without hijab. There's no problem. You
Mhm.
know, you think
Okay,
there is a problem, but no, there is no problem. If a woman
okay,
want to go without hijab, she is allowed, of course. If a
okay,
woman want to work, she's allowed. No one said no. But the people here, maybe the community, this is different. But most
okay.
of our girls or our are following the Islamic religious, and they wear hijab because they believe in it. They're not forced to wear it.
Okay, so you are basically saying that it's a voluntarily they are doing this. It's not about the government is forcing them to do so.
No, of course there is no
Yeah.
ban from the government.
Okay, okay.
If you want to go without hijab, you can't go.
Hmm. Do you know any exciting startup company from your country that you find promising?
Okay, Sri, to be honest, you
Hmm.
touch a great topic.
Yeah,
I think startup and business
yeah,
and this kind of field attract me.
yeah.
There are a ton of new projects here in Saudi Arabia
Hmm.
with a great businessman working on them, but I don't have names inside my head. But
Hmm.
I remember one of my friends show me his project. He was talking about linking AI to law and making a personal lawyer with every Saudi guy. It's a niche idea because everyone is adding AI.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, other than that, to be honest, I don't have something in my mind right now.
But since the NEOM project is going on, so I totally can see that there is a lot of startup company also will be created surrounding that project to help with your government building the NEOM project.
I think you are right. There are a ton, but for me,
Yeah.
I don't remember names.
So Yasser,
Mhm.
according to you, what is the
Mhm.
most popular career option or educational program that you observe in your surrounding?
I think as any Asian father or all the family want to see you as a doctor or as an engineer, you know. But
Mhm.
my surrounding from my family, I had a great family, supported me through all my studying year. They advised me to take a step out and
Mhm.
try law. And to be honest, it's working very well for me right now because with the new legislations and with the new companies here coming to Saudi Arabia,
Mhm.
we will need a new level of lawyers with new ideas because law here in Saudi Arabia or lawyers wasn't like this today, you know? Used to
Mhm.
be so not advanced and
Yeah,
the
the
people used to
old
not
school type.
respect
Yeah,
the lawyers.
yeah, I can totally
Exactly,
see.
exactly. But
Yeah.
now, yeah, but now with the vision, we have new companies here,
Mm.
foreign company. We need someone to understand them, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah,
Someone who can understand what they want and what their product
exactly.
is, so that they
And
can
how
compile the law for them. Yeah, I can totally see that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So according to you, how do
Mhm.
young people in your country view entrepreneurship?
I tried it before, to be honest. I tried it with a few projects,
Hmm.
but unfortunately I didn't succeed. But I am planning to find another great idea, $1 million idea, and working on it. I will find an Indian developer and a Saudi businessman
Hmm.
and a great Arabic minds, you know. I think this is the winning.
Formula.
Yes, exactly. This is the winning formula. To have a great mind, a great, and I've worked with developers, especially
Yeah.
from India. Those
Hmm.
guys don't joke. If you want something, they are going to make it, and they are going to make it in a decent amount of money, and
Yeah.
with a great efficiency, with a great quality. You guys are magicians. So yeah, I hope I come with a great idea so I can work with you guys.
So Yasir, according to you, what is the most popular smartphone brands in your country?
Definitely iPhone. It's an easy choice for me. Here in
Hmm.
Saudi Arabia, the iPhone, I
The
think
most
it's
popular.
possessed more than 30, not 30, 90% of the mobile sales here in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, 90s. That's a big number, I would say.
Yes, and the second-hand users are more than the first-hand users.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's to have an iPhone here, it's something regular, and it's a
Okay.
demand.
Okay. So what is the cost of the iPhone? I mean, is in your country iPhone is cheaper than compared to any other country?
We don't have an Apple store here in Saudi Arabia,
Hmm.
but we managed to get our iPhone with a decent or a fair price like any other country.
Okay. You import those.
Sometimes imported from Dubai, other time we have a local brands here working with Apple to provide iPhone with a great price.
Mm-hmm. So, man, can you
Mhm.
name any popular YouTube channel from Saudi Arabia?
Okay. Did you want a visual channel or a
Yeah.
podcast channel since we are recording one right now?
It could be anything.
Okay, I am going to share a video
Yeah.
from about a Saudi podcast. It recently reached 100 million listener.
It
It's
is
it's called ثمانية, which is
Thmanyah.
the number 8 in Arabic. This is
Okay.
the number one episode podcast heard in all of the world,
Oh,
and it is a Saudi podcast. Yes,
interesting.
I'm going to send you the link, and I hope you
Yep.
could share it with the audience.
Yep.
It's a great podcast. It's talking about relationship. It's so helpful, and it has instant translate. So you are definitely going to benefit from this episode.
Hmm.
I hope
Good.
you could have time to watch it. It has more than 100 million listeners to this
Okay.
episode.
Okay.
It's a great channel. Recently, they developed to become one big media company here in Saudi Arabia, bought them. So I
Oh,
hope your channel developed to reach this level, you know?
thank you, man. This means a lot.
Yeah.
Any other YouTuber that you like to mention?
Okay, I could recommend Falcon Team channel. It's a great esports game channel, you know?
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
play a ton of FIFA.
Okay. So, Yasser, what are the some misconception or stereotype about Saudi Arabia that you like to address?
Okay, there are a ton of misunderstanding
Mhm.
about Saudi Arabia and linking it to terrible accidents around the world and linking it to terrorist actions like the line 9/11, which we don't have any connection with them by any way, you know. And most of the people think that we are just hardcore Muslim. We don't like anyone. No, we are just regular people. We live here as Muslims, as peaceful Muslims. We like everyone. We like to get to know cultures. We like to host people. We like to, you know, we like them to know our culture closely. And yeah, I think if they give it a try and visit Saudi Arabia, they are going to feel like they are in home.
Hmm. Yeah, man. So, Yasser,
Mhm.
what do you think? What are the some biggest challenges facing Saudi Arabia today?
I think the Crown Prince said it that the biggest challenge that he faced is
Hmm.
his own people believing him. So I think Saudi Arabia, we believe our leaders so much, you know,
Hmm.
and we've seen great projects come alive. And I
Mhm.
think the biggest problem could Saudis face in the next years if they stopped believing in their leaders and in their visions, you know,
Mhm.
because we have a vision we need to accomplish. If we stop believing in it, we are going to lose, you know. So we need to keep our mindset focusing on our goal and achieving it, you know.
Why he said that? Is it because the new generation, like Gen Z, they do not believe that much as compared to the earlier
No, no,
generation?
no, because he 2017 when he established,
Hmm.
he gave this speech. He said it's a great vision and I
Hmm.
believe it's going to work. And the only problem, if you don't believe in it, you the people, the Saudis, if you don't believe in it, this is the only problem. So you
Hmm.
need to believe in it. So we believed in it. And we saw the results that should happen in 2030. We saw a couple of them today.
Hmm.
At the vision file, it says that we need to reach to 100 million visitor in
Hmm.
2030. We reached to it last year. It
Hmm.
says in the vision file that we need to reach to 50% of all Saudis need to own their own house. We reached
Hmm.
to 49% last year. It
Hmm.
says we need to cover all Saudi with 5G connection.
Hmm.
We reached to more than 98% last year. So
Hmm.
there are a ton of achievement, a ton of goals that we set, and we will believe, keep believing in it till we achieve all of them. And
Hmm.
inshallah, Sri, you are going to visit me in Saudi Arabia, in NEOM specifically.
Yeah, man. I'm really wish.
Yeah, I hope I see you.
Yeah, I really hope so, man. So, okay. So one last question here.
Mhm.
So, Yasser, what is the best piece of advice you ever received?
Piece of advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mentioned the podcast that your audience should hear it.
Hmm.
I took this advice from this podcast. Yasser Al-Hazami, which is the speaker in this video.
Hmm.
Me and him share the same name.
Oh.
He says that the gap between what you think of yourself and what you want to be filled usually with anxiety, with self-hating, with problems. So as
Mhm.
long as it's small, the gap is small, as much as it's small, as much as you will be happier.
The gap between you.
What you are now and what
Okay.
you want to be, or
Okay.
what do you think you are.
Mhm.
Like I am now just Yasser, but
Mhm.
I want to be the greatest lawyer in the world. So the gap
Mhm.
between this and that filled with anxiety.
Mhm.
So whether you just work harder to get to this picture or
Mhm.
get your imagine or yourself less than what you think, you know.
That's very inspiring. Thanks for sharing with us today. So, Yasser, that's the end of the podcast. Any final thoughts?
Just thank you, Sri, for your hospitality.
Yeah,
And
man.
thank you for giving me this chance. I hope I was clear in my speech. I said that enough. I hope your audience excuse me, because this is the longest I have ever talked in English in my entire life. And language is not my native, English is not my native language. So I tried my best working with Google Translate to come up with this great picture. So I hope, yeah, we deliver the message.
Yeah, you did very good, man, I must say.
Okay, thank you.
So, Yasser, before we wrap up, could you kindly ask our viewers to subscribe to the Billion Insights channel?
I hope you guys enjoyed our episode today, and I hope you follow our page in Spotify, The Billion Insight.
So, could you please ask our viewers to subscribe to the Billion Insights channel in Arabic language?
شكرا لكم جميعا، وأتمنى عجبتكم الحلقة، وأتمنى تشتركوا في برنامج The Billion Insight مع سري. Okay.
Thank you, Yasser. Thank you so much
No,
for talking
thank
with
you.
us today.
Thank you, thank you. I hope I was a great guest.
I'm really getting the Saudi vibes from you.
Okay, great.
We wish you all the best for you and your country's future.
Thank you.
And to our listener, thank you for tuning into the Billion Insight podcast. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes. And until next time, dream big and work hard. This is Sri signing out. Peace.